Hello. I want to talk to you today about hope, the anchor of our souls. I have not made one of these Windows in the Greek New Testament videos in some months, and this may very well be the final of these videos that I make. At least I do not have another one planned at this point. But I have something that I feel like is of vital urgency, vital importance to people living in these days, and that is hope. People live without hope. Christians do not cling firmly to their hope and miss great joy, great purpose, great meaning, and great successful fulfillment in our lives. The verse I want to key on is Hebrews 6:19, which reads, "We have this hope as an anchor of the soul, safe and secure, which enters to that which is within the veil, where Jesus, who has gone before us, has entered on our behalf." The word anchor is the same word as it was in the Greek world in the ancient days. It's ankura. Those of you who are beginning to learn Greek, you don't see a nu or an in there, but when two hard consonants come together, in this case the gamma and kappa, the in sound is always added, so it's not ankura but ankara. And most people in our day do not think of anything like an anchor when we think of hope. If you're hoping in the means and solutions and provision of this world, hope is doubtful, not safe and secure. But we hope in a hope that is trustworthy. Our hope is in Jesus Christ, who is at work even in the midst of the storms that are coming into our lives and upon the earth. That picture of the firm anchor is a good picture for a believer in Jesus Christ. Be very sure your anchor holds and grips the solid rock. That rock is Jesus. He's the one. That rock is Jesus, the only one. The picture of an anchor is not simply that which is safe and secure, that which holds our lives stable in the midst of a world in storm and turmoil. It is that picture. But there's another picture of an anchor. If we look back to the storm at sea in Acts 27, where Luke just recounts the story, we do see anchors that are like that. They're cast from the stern or maybe the mast of the ship, plop, 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 and they keep the ship from going any farther. In that storm, the sailors sensed that they were coming near some land, and they took depth and found by their soundings that it was shallower than it had been just a few minutes before, and they were afraid they were going to go crashing into the rocks. So they cast 4 anchors and prayed for the day. Those are the anchors like we think of an anchor, only there are many kinds, number of kinds of anchors on a ship. And there are also prow anchors, or they're sometimes called bowers. They're kept at the bow of the ship. And one of the uses of a bower is, rather than to plop it in the water and keep you where you are, it is to lay it out before you, past the rocks, past the dangerous places, and draw the ship past those dangerous things. That's what also we have in the storm in Acts. Some sailors under pretense of stretching out. The word is ektynein, an anchor from the bow. They were lowering a ship down, a boat down. Why in the world would you lower a boat down to cast an anchor? Well, you wouldn't cast an anchor with a boat, but you'd stretch one out, ektynein. And while I do not know of a specific case, reference in ancient literature where sailors in a small boat threaded the needle into a difficult harbor to enter and fixed the anchor line to a pylon driven down into the rock in the harbor and draw the ship into the safety of the harbor. That is the picture in Hebrews chapter 6. Jesus has gone before us into that which is within the veil. What is that picture? In the Old Testament, that the book of Hebrews was originally written to would be very familiar with. In the temple, and prior to that in the tabernacle, there was a 4-inch thick curtain that divided off the Ark of the Covenant. That was called the Holy of Holies. And the high priest could only enter it, and he only could enter it once a year, into the presence of God to see the mercy seat light up. That was copied from what God had shown Moses on the mountain. That is the place of the presence of God. Now Jesus, He is gone before us into the presence of God, and He's leading us with a purpose. We're not just anchored lest we fall into danger. We're drawn into His purpose, drawn into His sacrifice, drawn into the safety of the harbor of eternity in the presence of God.